ne savais pas encore nager, mon frère et moi allions à la piscine.
Ouais, très bien. Alors je note.
Bonjour tout le monde, je suis Derry et voici mon mari Marshall.
Salut. Depuis 4 mois, nous apprenons le français.
Aujourd'hui, nous voudrions partager nos expériences.
Nous allons répondre à des questions sur nos expériences, difficultés et progrès.
Alors,
On commence.
on commence. So that was us trying to introduce ourselves in French, and pretty much, as you can see, we're just kind of still stumbling along. It's been about 4 months now since
4 months,
we've
yep.
started classes since this past May of 2025. So that's kind of a little taste of what we've been doing so far. So we go to a school in Lyon. We take about 12 hours of classes per week.
12 per week, yeah.
They're teaching us pretty much top to bottom everything about French. Obviously, we're speaking French. We're learning different vocabulary words. They're teaching us grammar. They're teaching us listening comprehension. They're really doing a thorough job of pretty much dragging us across the different levels.
It's the
right
full
now.
4, right? So we get reading, we get writing, we get listening comprehension, and we get oral or speaking.
And it's in a group setting. So currently we're in a class. My class is about 10 people, which I think is a really good size. We basically get to go to school with people from all over the world. It's wonderful, and it's something that I absolutely adore. I love meeting people from different backgrounds and definitely different countries. And one of the best things too is that they have this map from all over the world, and everybody gets to put a pin from where they are. So you can really kind of tell, basically where everybody's coming from. So I got my little Belize pin in there. I think I'm the first one to mark it. So.
And my class is roughly the same. It's 8 or 9 folks. Same thing, global representation. We're in a slightly different learning path, so we're in the same class a few weeks ago, and now we're in a different class, but they're right next door. So we still walk to school together and walk back home together.
Yep. It's a really great way to start the day. So, in addition to the classes that we're taking, I also am picking up 2 extra hours of tutoring just so I can kind of get all my questions answered. I go to a tutor here in Lyon. Her name is Geraldine Jay, and she's great because obviously in addition to all the stuff that I'm learning in school, I'll go to her specifically for one-on-one concentrated learning, and that has really been a game changer for me, just for anything I'm not truly understanding. Finally I can go to Geraldine, and Geraldine will really just kind of hone in on all the deficits that I have, and then be able to kind of make me a bit more confident. So highly recommend being able to go in there, and we have a lot of fun when we get together. So
Set on that. I don't get the fun.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll let you in on the fun. So that's our setup, to give you an idea of what we're doing and how we're learning. So now I think we're just going to go ahead and start our little Q&A that we have for each other to kind of give you guys a little bit better of an idea as to how we're doing.
We each have a set of questions, so
Yep.
we made up questions, and then we split them randomly into 2 piles, and we're going to take turns asking one another these questions. It's good and bad. On one hand, it's excellent that we have the same classes at the same time, and we get to walk together, and on the way back sometimes we get lunch, we can get coffee during our break, and all that's been really good. Being in the same classroom at the same time also got some good parts, right? So we can support each other, and this is obviously a couple weeks ago, because as you now notice, we're not in class together anymore.
Right.
But we're able to support each other a little bit, and if one of us missed what the other person said, we can I can ask you, you can ask me.
Right.
But it also leans to us leaning on each other, where maybe I don't have to pay as much attention because I know that you're listening, and so I think it's good to kind of get us that we're in different physical classes now, that we're sort of out of our comfort zone. But you know, if we found out that next week we'd be back in the same classroom together, I would welcome it.
Yeah. Because you're more advanced than I am, I was leaning, I think, on you a lot more when we were in classes together. Now that I have been on my own more, I think it's better for me in that I'm able to kind of, you know, be a little bit more confident in myself. I'm not getting all of the information, but at the end of the day, too, I think it's helped my growth path a
Well, I
bit
think it would be
more.
unfair to say that I'm getting all the information. Like I'm lucky if I
Well,
walk
no, you're
out
getting
with 60% of what we were talking
No,
about.
but like you would get stuff where, I would be like, well, I don't remember saying that, and I would get maybe part of the information. Like today, I'm still just getting, you know, you hear those little words, and you're just like, I know what that means. I know what that means. I know what that means. So I can surmise what the information is.
I think Derry and I pick up on different things.
Yeah. But you also remember grammar rules, just in English grammar rules, and I don't remember any of them.
Oh yeah, I'm a rules-based person.
You are very much like, like, and I'm just like, I will follow it, you know, and that's just the way we learn. No, we complement each other in certain ways. Well, nothing beats actual conversation day to day. Nothing. Like, so some of the best times that I learn is when I go out and I go get my hair done. Or I get...
Is that why you get your hair done so much?
Well, no, I like to get my hair done. No, because, you know, the colorist, she doesn't really speak English, and I'm definitely trying to speak as much French as I can. And so because we come, like, I see them now maybe like 6 weeks apart. You could tell, like, every time, so chaque fois, chaque fois, every time I go in, it's like I've learned a little bit more. And same thing with like the other person that I go to as well. It's like every time I see them, it's just another month or 4 weeks or 6 weeks that I see them. And so I speak more and more French to them. And so for me, those are some of the best times and some of the breakthrough times for me.
For me, I need to review what I've learned that day. I need to try to combine the aspects of any given thing that I learned or I was expected to learn. Can I hear it? Can I say it? Can I write it? Can I read it?
Yes.
And so I will sometimes, especially with verb conjugations, I'll just come back and I have a notebook where I just fill up the notebook with conjugations, or I'll try to write sentences, you know, that I do this, he does this, she does this, and a different thing at the end. So I try to do all that. What I don't do and I should is more speaking practice, like standing in front of a mirror and talking in front of a mirror, because some of it's going to be muscle memory. You know, you say the same thing 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. You could teach me a Klingon phrase. I know nothing about Klingon, right? But you teach me that and make me say it 1,000 times, and I'm going to remember it. Whether I know what it means or not, I'm going to remember because I said it 1,000 times. And that I'm not very good at yet, but I need to get better at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think probably I've always known that there's, well, depending on where you come from, French is either English pronounced poorly or English is French pronounced poorly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But I've always known there's a lot of similar words.
Yeah.
And I think I am simultaneously surprised by how many similar words there are. And I think that's why I can understand slightly better, right? I'm not, you know, you can't just talk to me and I get it all, but I can understand slightly better than I can produce, because you say a word in French that is the same as one in English. And I'm like, okay, I get the sense of what you're saying. But I will say that it is kind of surprising how many words in French are almost identical to that in English, but have vastly different meanings.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
Right?
that's true too.
And so, you know, there'll be a verb where it's the same verb. You're like, okay, I know what that means. And then you find out, no, you don't. I
want to say profit or profit. Profiter, which you know, obviously it's like, I guess maybe more along the lines of money in English, but then profit is like to look and to see, I guess, or not to look or see, but to enjoy, like to enjoy.
Or to enjoy. Well, So yes, that's an excellent point, because you can there's another alternate meaning in English that means the same thing. You profit from something.
But it's not how we use it, really.
But so that's one of the things. You're initially surprised how similar the languages seem to be, and then you're surprised how absolutely that
wrong
can
you
trip
could
you
be.
up.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
can trip you
yeah,
up. So
yeah.
you go into it almost not being any better off.
Yeah.
Because while you know the words, you're scared to necessarily use them or make assumptions about them, because it might be one of the ones that you're wrong about.
Yeah. For me, the most surprising thing about learning French is just how quickly I've caught on, but at the same time, how slow going it is. Like, I know in the last 4 months, considering that I've not done any kind of French language learning before May of this year, really, other than tourist French. There really hasn't been any studying or anything understanding of the French language. And in the last 4 months, I'm actually shocked at how much I've learned and I know, but also I'm a bit put off as well by how much more I need to know.
Well, right, that's it. Right? The more you learn, the more you learn that you need to learn.
Yeah. It's and then honestly, I just also feel like it's right now in French I sound like a caveman. It's like me, Derek, you, Marshall. It just I'm just like, I promise I'm a lot more eloquent in English, but I just don't.
Une femme des cavernes.
Huh?
It's a woman of the caves.
You just called me a cave woman. That's so mean. Anyway, so yeah, that's the most surprising thing. Let's see. I don't know. I guess better.
Better. All right.
Better.
Next question.
I don't know. I look. Like I said, we're older. It takes time, except for you. You just grab onto stuff really quick.
You say that, but we just no. Mm-mm.
You're good, and it's a good thing. But for me, here's what I know. If you're older, it just takes a little bit longer to grasp things, and that's just, it's true, and that's just the way it is, I feel very rusty going back to school and then having to be, and be in a classroom setting again. And then just again, you're not as quick as you used to be, and you could see that, and that's okay. And learning to be okay with being a little bit slower. But the only person that I really am up against is where I was when I first started.
Sure.
So 4 months from now, I hope I'm better than I am today, which I know I will be. That's almost guaranteed if I continue to do it. There's
a need to label yourself with a letter and a number because of maintaining your visa and renewing and doing this and this. There's certain requirements.
Yeah.
But past that, I want to be comfortable speaking without having to think through everything I'm going to say before I say it. That's what I wanted in 4 months. And I don't know that the question's written in 4 months, but realistically, I'm thinking by the end of the year. It's what, the end of September now, and so by the end of the year, but going into 2026, am I going to have to learn more vocabulary? Yes. Am I going to mess up on grammar? Yes. But I don't want to have to think through all right, I'm about to walk into this establishment. Let me run through all the things that might happen. Just to be comfortable talking and to have enough of a command of vocabulary to be able to find a way to say what I need to say. And I think that's the thing. Like we talked about how I'm very rule-based, and so explain what the grammar rule is. I'll learn it. I'm not going to be able to spout it right off the bat, and I might not have the vocabulary behind me to actually put it into practice and say what I want to say.
Right.
And that's what I need to make sure that I work on and where I need to get by the end of the year is I need to sort of get away from the idea that learning a language is an exercise in rules.
Yeah.
Like there is a component of well, I mean, the whole thing is about expression, right? But it's the component, just expressing yourself comfortably is the component of it that I need to concentrate on more, and maybe concentrate less on like, all right, I've got this rule thing covered. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think it makes sense, or I don't think it's the right move to say, oh, in 4 months I want to be this letter followed by this number.
Yeah.
I think it has to do more with how you're going to use the language and how you're going to get around. Like I would love, okay, here's my thing. In 4 months, I just want to be able to go into a pub and just strike up conversations with the people around me.
Yeah.
And know that I'm
absolutely.
at least going to be able to have a basic conversation
Sure.
about something more than, you know, je m'appelle Marshall.
Yeah, yeah,
Il fait chaud, right? Like it
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah.
you know, that's what I want for
Yeah.
myself by the end of the year.
Yeah, that would be great. I have, yeah, I'm not gonna be there by the end of the year. It's just not gonna happen, and that's
But-
okay. But I'm gonna get
The
there.
end of the year is 3 months, so
Maybe I'll be
Only
better.
4,
I'll be
yeah.
better. That I know I'll be better.
Yeah,
but I
if-
just don't think I'll be like
the moment that
at
we go
that
4 months and
place.
we're worse than we were, that we should just stop.
Yeah,
whatever.
we should
just
back up and
quit.
go.
Yeah, just
And
whatever.
we're done. Bye.
Yeah, maybe English.
Yeah. Oh my
No,
God.
I don't think we're gonna regress.
I'm hoping not.
Yeah.
Oh God. I'm sure there's
Just one.
I'm sure there's plenty, honestly. I just don't know about them because I don't know what I've said. I think I was talking to Geraldine the other day, and she laughed so hard at what I said, and I totally forgot what I said. But she's like, "No, that's the F word. You do it this way. This is what you meant to say."
That's fine.
So I mean, again, not crazy embarrassing. I feel like that's the best thing probably for people who are teaching other people French is just let's
Yeah.
see what they're gonna say today.
Let's see what these doofuses are gonna say this class.
So,
Well, I think so. I know the answer to this question,
Okay,
and
good.
I didn't even make this question up. But and you'll remember this when I tell the story. But when we were it was just a few weeks into class with Agnes, I was trying to say that this that this weekend I'm going to take my wife to Paris.
no, I think okay. Go ahead.
But I guess in that context, you don't use prendre. And also, I mixed up wife with girlfriend. So if you recall, with you sitting next to me, I tell the class that
Yes, that's right.
I'm gonna
Take my girlfriend,
I'm
or
gonna-
but
I'm
take
gonna
my girlfriend.
F my girlfriend
yeah,
in Paris.
I'm gonna take my girlfriend to Paris.
And after Agnes picked herself up off the floor, she asked whether you'd be okay with that.
Sure.
I'm like, hey, it's a free trip to Paris, isn't it? So that was definitely mine.
Yeah. Oh, that was cute. No, that was funny. I don't know. That was funny. I don't know. Okay, so not phrase. Well, there are a couple phrases. So, for some reason, I've really gotten attached to d'accord.
D'accord.
D'accord, which basically like okay, or you agree, or you're on the
Yeah.
same page. D'accord. So like, especially in class, they'll be teaching us about something, and if I understand, be like, d'accord. I love like words that connect. It's like alors, or donc, or mais, or parce que, or I don't know. I like all of those. I don't know why. I've like used them often enough now that I'm just like okay. But I love using je la pêche.
Je la pêche.
Je la pêche, which basically translates to
I have the peach.
I have the peach.
Yeah.
But it's just a French saying of like it's like comment ça va? Je la pêche. You know, like I'm feeling good, and so I really like that, especially if like I have a glass of wine in my hand. Charlotte has taught me cuckoo or cuckoo salut. It's just all these like little like. I have not started the tick 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 tick. I've heard people say it.
Like everybody, yeah.
I don't do that, but I feel like it's coming. Tick, tick,
That's how
tick,
you'll
tick,
know.
Tick, tick, yeah, tick 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 tick. You know, so I don't know. Those are my phrases I like to use. And
Well, I mean, what do I use the most? Probably pardon. I'm always running. It's, always asking for forgiveness for my crappy French. You know, and you have to use certain phrases like bonjour is
course,
necessary. You can't unless
Right.
it's after a certain time.
Bonsoir.
Yeah, and then it seems like every transaction at any store, when you go to the grocery store or whatever, you have to end it with a whole string of, you know, merci, au revoir, bonne journée, right? You have to do the whole.
Merci, au revoir, bonne
Bonne
journée.
journée.
It's almost like one word.
It's
yeah.
one word, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But there's different orders sometimes.
Yeah.
So those are the things I use the most. I try to use like considerate phrases as we learn them, right? So it's you show up and everything is you learn je veux, right? Okay,
Right,
it's like whoa, calm down,
that's
man.
rude.
So when you get to learning your je voudrais and j'aimerais and you know, puis-je and all that
Je
kind of
puis.
stuff, right? Puis-je, all that kind of stuff. Then I try to use those. I try to be, you know, it's like we'll learn in school that this is very formal, so you don't want to use it all the time. But I think I'd rather be more formal,
And more respectful.
than less, right? So I kind of err on the side of that.
Yep.
So I think those are the common ones. It's the niceties words
Yeah.
that I use the most.
No, absolutely.
There's a lot of advice.
What do you wish you did?
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier.
Yeah.
I wish that I had, if there's only one thing that I did, it should have been listening to French.
Yeah.
Like even not trying to learn words or learn grammar or write or read or anything else, just getting, because you can get away initially with not reading or writing. Right? Sure, you know what a street sign says. It's not truly reading.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get very far without understanding what people are asking you
Sure.
or demanding of
yeah.
you. So it would be just initially just podcasts or watching news or anything where you get, even if you don't pick out a single word, just knowing the cadence of the language, right? That's helpful. Because you can start to pick out, I mean, I can listen now, and I'm sure it's the same way with you, to a sentence where you hardly know anything about, like you don't recognize any of the words, but you're like, I know that word was the verb, you know, and that was the, you know, so you can start to pick out that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that I would do. You don't realize, if you're just existing on the street and you're going to the store and you're having to take care of this and just take care of business, right?
Yeah.
Not business, but you know, just taking care of your everyday business. You don't need a lot of like flowery language or descriptive words or situation description, things like that. But when you go to class and you learn in class, you're expected to learn that stuff. You know, you have to describe things and you have to talk about your preferences and your displeasures and that kind of stuff. Describe other people, describe situations. And so I always thought that just mindlessly going through flashcards wouldn't be a great use of time. But I do wish that I had done that. Even if I just had a batch of a couple thousand nouns and adjectives that I never used until we got here, it would have been helpful.
Yep.
And I think to cap that off, I mean, I could go on and on about stuff that I
wish
should have
you'd
done,
done,
right?
yeah.
But just like I messed this up when I took a little bit of Spanish in high school, I messed it up when I took a little bit of German in high school, which was thinking to myself, don't worry about the genders. It's more important to learn the noun than to learn the gender, but the gender affects everything.
Everything.
You know?
And I'm like, why is a chair like male or female? It's a
Yeah,
chair.
and
No, it is. That's the problem.
well, it is, and there's some places it doesn't matter. You know, if you can talk in plurals, it doesn't matter. But then if you describe it and throw in an adjective, well, you still need to know it, especially when you write. You know, because written French and spoken French is like, wait, are these the same language? Is what? 50% of these letters weren't even pronounced. You know?
Yeah, that like to go back to the other question where it says, what's the hardest thing about learning French? The genders are like crazy to me. Because we don't have that in English at all.
There are a few things that can be gendered, but generally, like ships or
ships.
she. Yeah.
But are they? Like, we don't, you know.
There's no situation I could think of that you, unless you're talking about people. If you start calling people it, they tend to get pissed off. But but for even if a thing has a gender you can use, yes, you can say she with a ship, but you can also say it. Nobody's going to get mad at you.
Right, exactly. I think I wish I would have just built up the vocabulary. Two main things I wish I would have done. Just build up the flashcard vocabulary. Just try to understand as much of as many verbs, nouns, pronouns, whatever it is that you can kind of get under your belt before you get here. Would be really good because you're going to need those vocabulary things. And then the other thing is just if you're going to do any kind of grammar before you come, know how to conjugate the être, the avoir,
être,
and
avoir,
the
aller.
Because that is going to be the foundation for basically building upon everything. And faire.
Yeah, throw that in as well.
Yeah, but those 4 specific ones, if you learn to conjugate those before you get to classes, that would,
And the thing is you can learn 1,000 nouns and 1,000 adjectives before you get here and start your classes on day 1. And for 2 months, you're not going to use them.
Yeah.
But then you hit a point where you've learned enough basic grammar where you start talking about things, and then you'll say to yourself, I'm glad I know these.
Yeah.
Versus me saying to myself, like, oh, why didn't I think this was going to be important?
Yeah. And it does, and it gets important. But that's what I wish I would have done, is just build up a stronger vocabulary than I had before I got here.
Yeah.
And then, those know how to conjugate. And then, honestly, you might want to go over some grammar rules in English so you know, like, what an indirect and a direct object means, and what the subjective and the pronouns and all of that stuff. Just because it's just whenever you get to that part and it's in school, it's just like, oh yeah, we did like we do in English, and then you kind of like, oh, I understand what we're trying to do.
Well, and it's not even knowing the term direct object or the term indirect object, but just thinking through the and reminding yourself that there is a difference between the two.
Yeah. Well, and then how it's put together in French versus how it's put together in English is going to be different, but sentence structure and reminding yourselves of sentence structure is probably very helpful if you're planning on taking French classes. Just because, again, I'm old. I haven't done this for like
a long time.
A long time. And so it's one of those things you kind of have to remind yourself of, getting back to like the basics.
Yeah.
So.
For making it through our first attempt at doing an interview style video. Before we completely finish up, just wanted to mention the school. We'll kind of have links in the description for this. The school we go to, École Interculturelle pour les Étrangers.
Oui.
Right. Okay. So it's sort of on the other side of the Rhone from the Parc de Tutor. A little bit further south.
Closer
but anyway,
to
it's
Hotel
in
de
that
Ville.
area, Hotel de Ville, right?
Hotel de Ville is
It's in that area if you look at Lyon on a map, or you're here already, or you're on your way. And then...
and if you need extra help, or actually if you want to get started early online, Geraldine Jay is a great tutor that I go to. You can contact her at learnyourfrench.com. We'll also put some links in the description for her. If you want to get started early, you can do that.
So once again, thank you for watching. We've got other videos on the way. I'm in the process of working on a video where we talk through sort of what your electronic situation looks like, and electrical when you move from the US to somewhere in Europe that uses the certain type of electrical system we have here. So if you're watching this and there's anything that you want answered in that video, still time to get some questions in.
Also, if you like this video and want to learn more about our French language journey or anything regarding Lyon and our journey here, be sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks again, everyone. Au revoir.
Bonne journée. Bonsoir. See you later. Bye.
Ta-ta, TTFN.
Cuckoo.